Actor Gary Busey, literally caught with his pants down on a park bench in Malibu, just a day after police in New Jersey charged him with sex offenses involving 3 women at a convention. So, what does this mean for the 78-year-old actor, and what is he saying about it now? I'm Angenette Levy, and welcome to Law&Crime's Sidebar podcast. Gary Busey has appeared in a number of movies over the years. He is best known for playing Buddy Holly in the Buddy Holly story, and he was also a candidate, or a contestant rather, on Celebrity Apprentice. And now he's in some trouble in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's facing 2 counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual contact, 1 count of attempted criminal sexual contact, and 1 count of harassment, accused of trying to fondle women and groping them at this convention in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. It was some type of horror convention. And joining me to talk about this is a man who knows a lot about the entertainment industry. He is an entertainment lawyer out in Los Angeles, Jonathan Handel. Jonathan, welcome back to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
What did you think when you first saw that Gary Busey had been charged with these, sex offenses in New Jersey?
Well, remembering again that he's presumed innocent until and unless proved otherwise, it seemed possible that he had taken the name of the convention a little bit too much to heart. It was the Monster Con, and this behavior, if indeed was the celeb behaving badly, is certainly not behavior that any woman or anyone should countenance.
I think we need to point out, though, Gary Busey is denying these allegations. He is saying it's all made up, that he didn't do anything to these women. He was talked to, or I guess somebody from TMZ, I should say, approached him at a gas station in Malibu just in the last day or so. And he said it wasn't true. So Gary Busey's saying it's not true, but it doesn't really exactly look good that a day after this happened, and that convention was held August 12th to the 14th, a day after he is charged with these sex offenses, he's photographed, videotaped on a park bench in Malibu where he lives, and he has his pants down. So, Jonathan, what on earth could be going on here?
Well, if it is him, and I have to admit, it's hard to recognize the person in the video. But if that is him, it's very hard to understand. It seems rather either self-indulgent or disturbed behavior, and he's a bit older. He's 78, I believe, and beyond that, we don't really have transparency or insight into what's going on. It's hard to remember, hard to forget the fact that it's only been 15 years since the iPhone was invented, but the concept of privacy and videoing and what ends up on YouTube, which itself is only about 15 years old, 2006, has changed dramatically, and some people's conception of the world perhaps hasn't changed as quickly as the technology has, but you can't just sit on a bench in Malibu and drop your drawers. It's, if you're someone who's any sort of celebrity, let alone somebody who's been accused of some sexual exposure or sexual type crimes, again, if that is Busey that we see in the video, it's just, beyond ill considered.
Now, there are some documents that have been obtained by the Philadelphia Inquirer, and they found, according to these documents from the police department in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, that he was accused of, I guess, groping 2 women's rear ends before putting his face near a third alleged victim's breasts and asking her where she got them, and then trying to undo her bra. We were just talking about privacy and how there's no such thing anymore with the advent of the iPhone and YouTube and social media, all of this stuff. There have to have been cameras, I would think, somewhere in that area that would have captured these things. But then again, police found probable cause to move forward with the charges.
Right. And Busey, according to some reports, not only is denying the allegations, but says that he has witnesses, that he had a small entourage or other people with him who he says will testify that none of this happened. So, once again, we're in the court of public opinion here. We don't have subpoena power. We would just have to wait until the legal process plays itself out to see what actually happened. Uh, I want to emphasize that for most of us, it's not necessary to form an opinion at this stage. Most of us are not in the position of having to decide whether or not to hire Gary Busey for his next film, for example, or to otherwise be in business with him or interact with him. And so it's just one of those, uh, you know, uh, alleged occurrences that we now are aware of because of media, because of the salacious nature of it, that we will have to sit tight and see how the process plays out.
And Gary Busey told TMZ on Monday at this gas station, he's literally pumping gas, and I guess the photographer runs into him. I don't know how that works. I don't know if like his people called TMZ and said, "Hey, Gary's going to the gas station. Why don't you catch up with him there?" But he said nothing happened. There were a partner and a camera lady and me and two girls. It took less than 10 seconds, and then they left. And it'll be interesting to see what comes of this. Gary Busey is not somebody I would think is in high demand in Hollywood right now. I mean, am I wrong about that?
No, I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, and he's got a kind of a checkered past. I mean, he's got some issues with substance abuse. A lot of people have issues with substance abuse.
It's true, but I mean, Gary Busey was not the star of the most recent Top Gun. Let's just put it that way. Hollywood's not is not knocking loudly at his door, and obviously this is not the sort of, from a standpoint of publicity, this is not the sort of publicity that's likely to attract further interest in using his services. But again, it's really important that we let the process play out as it does and as it will, before concluding, well, gee, Gary Busey's a perv or something. I mean, it's, we just don't really know the facts beyond a reasonable doubt until the legal process plays out.
Most certainly. And he's entitled to that, just like anyone else is. So we shouldn't, and we can't jump to conclusions about this because, we've seen so many times, time and time again, there are accusations, and there are times when those accusations are unfounded. This happens to involve three women, so three accusers. Plus, it sounds like, according to some of the most recent reporting, at least with the Malibu incident, that he was looking around and then had his pants kind of taken down, and there was some type of lewd act performed. So would you expect police in Malibu to look into that? And apparently it was somebody wearing the same clothing as Gary Busey at the gas station on Monday, same clothing as the video that was taken after this happened.
I think it's probably unlikely, given that there's no whatever act may or may not have taken place, and whether it was Gary or not, there's no allegation that there was a victim there, a specific victim, or that anyone other than the photographer, the videographer, even witnessed this. And so that has a very, frankly, misdemeanor like feel to it. It has a very much a sort of feel of, gee, the police have better things to do with their time than investigate whether Gary Busey was, whether it was Gary Busey and whether he, pulled his pants down on a park bench without other people in the immediate vicinity. I wouldn't expect much to come of that, but you don't know, of course.
Right, we don't know. Well, Jonathan Handel, entertainment lawyer in Los Angeles, thanks as always for joining us. We appreciate your time and your expertise as always.
Thank you.
And that'll do it for this edition of Law and Crime Sidebar podcast. It is produced by Sam Goldberg and Michael Deininger. Bobby Szoke is our YouTube manager. Alyssa Fisher handles our bookings, and Kiara Bronson does our social media. You can find Sidebar on Apple, Spotify, Google, and wherever else you get your podcasts. And of course, you can watch it on Law and Crime's YouTube channel. I'm Angenette Levy, and we will see you next time.